welcome, beloved, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well. In all your ways, and that you are moving into living life on your own terms. Thanks to every single person that supports us on our Patreon account and that sends us money through our PayPal. We really appreciate love each and every one of you. We wouldn't be able to do this show without you. We don't take you for granted, and thank you so much for continuing to make, the Wake Up Africa movement a living, breathing reality. And, special shout out to the Artisan Hub, Branston, Gunthorpe, Ayiti Indigenous Botanicas. Oh, nice. I love it. Oh, okay. I really want to know what you guys do, but I'll be in touch. Ida Tekle, Gia Moriah Israel, Caribbean Breeze. Oh, thank you so much. Caleb Page, Alonzo Horton, and many, many more. We appreciate love each and every one of you. We're so grateful. Thanks to all for all the encouraging messages you send me. Beloveds, apart from this show, there's an awakening going on. And so don't get distracted by what's going on, with the massive distractions that are going on. And there is massive changes as well. But you really have to be spiritually led to know where you should be and what you should be doing. But literally, I can't deal with electronics too much. I don't know how else to explain it. If you're awakened and you're elevated, you'll know where I'm coming from. But I've really been having a problem, being on the computer for too many hours in a day. So I'm going to definitely try and get back to you, especially those who have written me emails, etc., etc. But if you've written me an email and you want me to get in touch, at least the emails I'm checking regularly are Patreon. So if you're a Patreon, if you're one of my Patreons and you've emailed me on Dr. Mumbi Show, go ahead and email me on Patreon as well, and I'll probably get to that sooner. Now, very interesting news. There's a lot happening with these anti-racism protests that are happening across the world. I know some people will say, people have very many different arguments, but we are actually seeing things changing. And one of the big ones is, the Rhodes. Remember I talked about the Cecil Rhodes statue that was kind of, I don't know if they defaced it, but they were kind of arguing for it to be, they were arguing for it to be brought down, etc., etc. And finally, finally, there's actually light at the end of the tunnel, because Oxford College has actually backed the removal of Cecil Rhodes' statue. And this is a big deal because, as much as it has gained, it has come back into the public limelight because of the anti-racism protests that are like massive in the divided kingdom, but this fight has been ongoing since at least 2015. So for the last at least 5 years, African students have been trying to remove Cecil Rhodes' statue. And as I told you guys, he was the architect of apartheid. He's buried, I think, on Table Mountain, which is just an abomination. But what happened is that the Oxford University College actually voted. They held a vote over the last couple of days, and they voted in favor of removing the 19th century colonialist Cecil Rhodes statue. And this was in response to the thousands of protesters that showed up to Oriel College. They said they also wanted to set up an independent inquiry into the key issues surrounding the statue of the Victorian mining tycoon. And the reason that Cecil Rhodes' statue was in Oxford is, ironically, he went to Oxford back in the day, which is why they gave him that honor. And then he donated like millions of pounds from, the diamonds that he collected in Africa, the diamond mines in Africa. And he created what I told you guys, the Rhodes Scholarship, which was given mainly to, I think it was mainly there were a few select nations. I don't know how it worked. Once it caught my eye, so glad I didn't go down that path. But I think it was there were very few. I think they award almost 80, they award 8,000, overseas scholarships to overseas students. But, some say a lot of Mzungus get it instead. But we must, this thing of making all these people look good. I told you these are altars. Because Cecil Rhodes was a white supremacist. confirmation, and one of the many major builders of the British Empire. And I told you he gave his name to the territories of Rhodesia, which are now Zimbabwe and Zambia. That's how much of a trip he was on. But now we're seeing this. Although the people who have kind of been campaigning for this, he studied at Oriel College in 1902 before he went on to Africa to pillage our diamonds and, rob our wealth, and then took it back to his university as one of the grand gifters. It's so crazy, but it shows you that the protest worked. Thousands of people showed up at Oxford University, massive rallies, and it has had an effect. But they said, the people who were organizing it, they call it the Rhodes Must Fall campaign. I love it. At least it's not Black Lives Matter. The Rhodes Must Fall campaign. And he said, they welcomed the news, but they said, however, we have been down this route before where Oriel College has committed to taking a certain action but has not followed through. Notably, in 2015, when the college committed to engaging in a 6-month-long democratic listening exercise that never happened. But, therefore, while we remain hopeful, our optimism is cautious. And that's what has to happen with this movement, is you don't just protest, and then they say, okay, we're going to do it, and then you forget. There has to be follow-up. There has to be that discipline of, we're not just out there looking crazy on the streets, but we've got an agenda. We want A, B, C, D, and people are going to follow it up. So it's really important for people to be organized. Rhodes must fall, and I don't know who they is, Michelle Donnellan, the university minister. She actually said that she had been opposed to the university minister. I think that's a spiritual counsel, She had actually been opposed to removing the statue, calling it short-sighted. And she was saying, because if we cannot rewrite our history, instead what we should do is remember and learn from it. And that's what a lot of Mzungus have been saying, that instead of taking these statues down, we should put a plaque near it. No, these were altars, and the altars are falling. It's just that simple. Tuko pamoja, beloved.
Christianity is a business. Jesus is the product. Christians are the customers. Your prophet and your pastors are the beneficiaries. Logic and common sense. The richest institution on this planet is the church. Money that goes into the church every month cannot be compared to the money that goes to the nation through taxes every month. The church is the easiest institution to run because anything you tell the church members to bring in the name of God, they will bring it. The pastors are rich and the members are poor. Even before you see this man of God, you have to pay consultation fee. Are you a doctor? These pastors are owning companies. No wonder they have started buying private jets. 2019 Rolls Royce. What are you telling me? People with credential, university graduates with their masters are sitting in these churches and they are playing with your mind. It is true. The pastor told you, don't use logic in the church. Being a Christian means enter without your brain. When you use the brain in the church, it doesn't work. Once you tag it God, you are a thief. God doesn't need money. Human beings need money to serve human beings. Once you target God, says you are a thief, you are a scammer. Now these people promise you blessing. When you bring money, they are scamming you in the name of a God who doesn't exist. You can't bless God with your money. If he gave you the money, what does he need your money for? That's how they make money from you. They will buy private jets. Some pastors have mansions in Dubai. Some have mansions in the United States, Britain, Canada, Spain. Your pastors go on holidays. Some go to Hawaii. Some go to Dubai for holidays and shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you go for holidays? Thieves, scammers. It is because of the religious people, the Christians, the prophets, and the so-called useless leaders there, African leaders. They are causing the downfall of Africa.
Yeah.
Our leaders are greedy, and the so-called men of God are criminals. I'm telling you. That's how Africa is going backwards. For Africa to rise, we don't only need wise leaders, we need wise citizens.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are in December, about to enter January, and a pastor is telling you you have to pay 1,000 naira for every week of the next year, which is 52 weeks. So you are paying 52,000 naira. Come, don't wait for anyone. This is how they control you in the churches. No wonder they call you sheep. If you are not a sheep, will you behave like this?
Oh, no.
Do I even know the money I will earn that the coming year? They will deceive you with a word called faith.
Oh, yeah.
The substance of things hoped for.
Yeah.
The evidence of things not seen.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most useless words in religion is faith. Believing in what you have not seen.
Aye.
It's like buying a key without having a car.
Aye.
I asked you, my brother, why are you holding a car key? Then you tell me, I believe I will buy a car. So I've bought the key so that when I buy the car, I'll start driving. Are you normal? Work hard. Learn how to save.
Yeah.
Africa is going backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've locked up our brains. This is my advice to every Ghanaian. The brain is the greatest gift nature gave us.
Yeah.
The brain is an app.
Yeah.
Let us use it.
Oh, yeah.
A time is coming. Avram bin Moshe, I will say a word again. Your pastors will tell you how foolish you've been.
Oh, yeah.
We are waiting for those pastors to perform the same miracles in the Bible. And I tell you, in the presence of Abraham bin Moshe, every pastor, every prophet will dodge miracles.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.